All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Board meeting, not committee meeting, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we get started, I'll just mention for our record here that Craig Cassee, our chair, is out of town, and so I'll be chairing today's meeting. Hearings from citizens. Do we have anyone who submitted for public comment, or I don't see anyone. Is there anyone in the room who wanted to offer a public comment? Going once, going twice. All right. All right. Update of the chair. First, we will, hopefully everyone had a chance to review the last board minutes. Those were from the August 16th meeting. Unless anyone had changes, suggestions, edits, I would entertain a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. This is a voice vote, right? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the minutes are approved. Mr. Hinton.
Good morning. We had a very pretty to the point meeting the other day. Last week, I guess, for finance, we went through the financials, which you will hear later this morning by Larry and some of the updates that he has done in terms of some staffing. We voted on two items, which was our infrastructure funds and investments. So that was the extent of our conversation. There was no new business or anything robust that we needed to talk about. And the financials were pretty consistent, and there were some things that were good and some things we need to continue to pay attention to. So you'll hear more about that shortly.
Sorry, give me 1 second.
Sorry, I went 90 seconds, so Blake could take as long as he needs.
Yielded your time.
All right, so we didn't have any action items coming out of your committee, right?
We did not.
Okay, got it. All right,
But we did vote on two things, investments and infrastructure, but that doesn't come here.
gotcha. All right,
We had a great planning and ops meeting, and I really appreciate the reputation we're developing of being thorough, detail-oriented.
Almost every single.
And so there's so much to go over. There's a lot of awards, a lot of great work going on. 2 grants, which is
Yes.
great. I don't want to start skipping over these because it's commonplace. We have to note them all. Fabulous work on that for Metro Now and NeoRide and ODOT and money coming in all over the place. Sorry, that's a little too casual. Matt Mormon, 40 under 40, that was great. Car Free Day coming up September 22nd, so please pay attention to that. We had a DBE vendor event and saw pictures of that online. Sorry, I couldn't make it for the ice cream. And then we discussed the CPS back to school successes, and that was fabulous. Ridership is up, right? Continues to go up. It is tracking up towards 2019 numbers. Very exciting. There are some challenges that go along with it. When you have more riders, OTP becomes more of a challenge. So we're noticing some of that and gonna put more attention on that. We are dealing with the economy-wide staffing challenge, industry-wide too, and that is affecting missed trips, and we discussed that. It's not a new topic, but a consistent focus. And then also a big focus on university ridership. We're looking to see where that plans out. We have 3 items on the consent agenda, just to go over them real quickly. Facility cameras, mostly covered by federal funds. Massive upgrade in our security for all facilities. We have a contract modification for Montgomery Bridge. There's concrete and masonry work that was much more extensive, damaged or required more work than in the original procurement. And then the largest one is bus stop benches and ADA concrete pads not for all of them, but where needed. And so this is going to be over a few years. Try and get it done as quick as possible. But 500 benches, 500, it's amazing. And probably about 250 concrete pads. So this will be a big face for our operations, and a great service for all the people riding. It is a big investment, so we need to, I would entertain, or I don't know, does the board or the chair entertain the motion for the consent agenda?
They can.
Yeah.
So, any questions on that? Anything you want to pull off, or?
So the benches, I heard that was caught up in planning commission. Is that not true?
So
Or it got resolved?
it did not get resolved. We resolved it they've already approved the type bench that we already have out there.
Okay.
So versus our contractor putting a much larger bench out, we've been dealing with this for several years. We're just going to buy our own benches and put our own benches out. And the benches that we're putting out have already been approved.
So they don't care about that because,
It's already approved.
They're not paying for it.
somebody just told me this weekend, like, you can't get your benches because of planning commission. I was like, really? I hadn't heard that yet.
Yeah, so we have decided to just buy our own benches and put them out ourselves versus making the community wait any longer.
Okay.
I think it's great to get
Yes.
it out for the community.
Yes.
And help our riders.
Yes.
Well, I'll move passage if there's no other questions.
Second.
Is this roll call or, sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. Ms. Bordone,
Yes.
Mr. Etheridge,
Yes.
Mr. Hinton,
Yes.
Mr. Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Robinson,
Yes.
Ms. Sheets,
Yes.
Ms. Taylor,
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Daryl, could I just, Blake had mentioned ongoing staffing issues, obviously. And I know we talked about this briefly in the committee, but just for the sake of anyone who may be participating in this meeting who didn't hear that, could you just speak to what our current staffing picture is like in the class that we have in right now?
Our current operator head count is about 470. For our current service, we need about 500. We are rolling out Reinventing Metro Phase 2, so we need about 22 more by the end of the year just to cover the service. We've got a class now, it's the largest class that we've had. We've got about 45 people in class right now. A number of them, about 20, I believe, if Adrian's in the room, I believe about 20 of them come out of training in October. So we're hoping to see an increase in operator headcount on the road in October, that our service will improve in October once they come out. We've got another big class coming out in November. We are being extremely aggressive in hiring. We're really putting some resources behind retention as well, because one of the challenges, we've hired about 250 operators in the last 2 years. Our challenge is retention, just like the rest of the country. Our challenge has been retention. So we're going to put some focus around retention. We're excited about the size of class that we have now. We're having some real success in hiring operators. Our outreach has gone really well. So we're hoping that by the end of this year, we'll be back on track and our service will improve.
What is the attrition of those 200?
Do you know the attrition percentage?
Sorry?
Attrition percentage?
The attrition percentage, it depends on if it's for new trainees or for operators. For new trainees, it's about 32%. Those who are just in the training and haven't made it out into progression, right? And for our current incumbent operators, it's running about 40 almost. And that's not just resignations. We've got some terminations that are taking place for a number of reasons and things like that.
You guys are offering sign-on bonuses and
$2,000 sign-on bonus,
bonuses.
referral bonuses.
on everything everybody else is doing.
Right. Just, you know, this issue, of course, is nationwide. I mean, it's
Yes.
not unusual. And one of the things that, and I was gonna talk to Adrian about it, I'm working with an agency out of Toledo, and they're going through the same thing. And what they've done in their training class, they've identified some of the reasons why people are not getting through it, and the attrition rate was due to marijuana, but more toward mental health. I mean, we're coming out of, a serious time.
Yes.
So they have I'm not, for a better word, mental health specialist, someone that is part of that training cycle that is working with them individually, even if they don't have a problem, just reminding them that we're here for you, that there's some things that you need to do. So I don't know. I mean, it's costing them money to have these people involved, but that's what they were finding out. They did, the data showed this was what was going on. So it's a bad time, and Adrian, I appreciate the work that you and your team are doing. I mean, that's the best we can offer right now, but that's what's going on.
We're excited about our recruitment. Our numbers are really, really good right now, and we're putting some resources behind retention.
Yeah, but you're
so-
gonna have to. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. We're gonna have to.
Yes,
Is the attrition generally folks in their first year or two?
mostly.
Like
Yeah.
from the recognition ceremony, I'm like, there's a lot of folks who've been here a long time.
Yes.
If you get over that 2-year hump,
Right.
people stay.
Yeah, and the life of a bus operator is different because, they do a pick once a quarter.
That's
And their times change. And if you're at the bottom of that list, the stability, the work-life balance isn't the greatest. I am excited about the new union contract that we signed, created a lot more work-life balance. So we'll see real soon the benefit of that work-life balance we created in the union contract. So our partners at the union, we really appreciate them.
Thank you. That doesn't count against your time.
Okay, thank you. Did I look nervous?
All right, I don't see Heidi. Is somebody reporting out on infrastructure that we're aware of?
We actually have a presentation
Okay,
on infrastructure.
great.
Haled?
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. That's not my present. Okay, there it is. I think we have some really great, exciting news to share with you. Next slide, please.
Two of the TIF, the infrastructure awards.
Yeah, thank you. All right, next slide. So we called for projects, and we received 40 projects from 26 different municipalities by end of June. Our consulting firms finished their evaluations end of August. And this is a list of the projects that we received and scored, and this is sorted by scoring. So you can see the highest ones received 7.12 out of 10. The lowest scoring was 3.17. A low scoring project doesn't mean that it's a bad project, that is, we shouldn't fund it. It's just a number that shows it in relative to the other projects in terms of how it met certain criteria and so on and so forth. But they're all critical projects, they're all important projects to their specific neighborhoods. On average, they're asking about 64% from us to fund their projects. Last year, it was actually higher than that, so they're bringing more money to the table. Next slide, please. That's the same list sorted by municipality. And the next slide kind of summarizes that. As you can see, some municipalities submitted on more than one project. Blue Ash submitted 2 applications, City of Cincinnati 12, Lincoln Heights 2, Springfield Township 2 applications. The rest obviously submitted 1 single application. And again, total 40 proposals from 26 different municipalities. Next slide, please. This is a map showing the municipalities who, upon your approval, will receive funding from this round. As you can see, it pretty much covers most of the county. However, next slide, please. Adding municipalities who received money last year but did not submit this year. So this is a cumulative map that shows all municipalities that have received or will be receiving funds from our program in just 2 years. So I think there's a pretty good balance of how the money is being awarded there. Next slide, please. So since the inception of this program, or since we started receiving sales tax receipts in October of 2020, by the end of this year, kind of projecting what the last few months of 2022 will bring in sales receipts, sales tax receipts, we will have received a total of $80.3 million for the entire program. And if you look at the table on the right, that's the total, 80.3, that's what the expected total amount. Add to that $222,000 in investment income, minus about $200,000 that we spent last year on consulting, admin, and other expenses. Subtract from the 80, $30.598 million for round one, our commitment to fund projects in round one. Subtract another 5% for emergency funding per the guidelines. That's about $1.8 million. And putting aside about just over $500,000 for administrative costs to cover our consulting expenses, admin expenses, and whatever else. That will leave us with $47.4 million that we can award this year. However, we have the Western Hills Viaduct, which is, we have an annual payment of $8.2 million. So if we subtract the 8.2 from the 47, that leaves us with $39.2 million that we can use to award to the projects. Next slide, please. Now, with the 39.2, that will allow us to fund all of the projects that are highlighted in orange peach color, except for Madeira, which is in yellow, will only receive partial funding. We will only have about $600,000 left for that project. But using all 39.2 million will really give us a chance to fund almost all of the projects that were submitted. It will also ensure that some municipalities like Blue Ash and Lincoln Heights, who submitted more than one application, will get at least one of those two funded as well. So I think we're pretty happy with the outcome this year. Next slide. So the action needed is, the staff requests your approval to move this award recommendation to the integrating committee. The amount of award is $39.2 million. Once we take it to the integrating committee and they approve it, we'll also take the full agreements to the integrating committee, and then we'll bring those back to you for your approval, to approve the agreement documents themselves. And that's the schedule. Is District 2. So we'll take it to the integrated committee in November, and then we'll bring it back to you, bring back the agreements themselves to you for final approval, and we'll execute those with each of the municipalities. Next slide. And just on a happier note, our signs are starting to pop up all over the county. These are 3 examples from Addiston, the City of Cincinnati, and Lincoln Heights projects. And next slide, please. These are some pictures before and after at Lincoln Heights. The 2 pictures on the left are before, and the one on the right, not quite after, but it's like midway after. They're not completely done, but they're almost there. So we're making a great impact on these communities.
We're really excited, since issue 7 passed, that we've been able to award, really close to $80 million to fix roads and bridges in our community because of issue 7. We're excited to be at this stage in year 2. Once this board approves us to move it forward to the integrating committee and they approve it, those projects can start. We're really excited, really excited to see these projects begin to actually take form in our region. So again, thank you to this board for issue 7 for changing what transit means in our region, not just with buses, but with actually fixing roads and bridges. This is really, really exciting to think that this much money is being poured in our community. And to give you a comparison, the Integrating Committee awards about $10 million a year to fix roads and bridges. We're awarding close to $40 million a year to fix roads and bridges in our community. So we're really excited about this. And we will have another signing ceremony, hopefully to see all of you at our next signing ceremony.
I think you did an excellent job. Thank you for the leadership.
Thank you.
And more importantly, all of the concerns that we raised in the beginning, that didn't evolve. So thank you so much, because we have the small and the large and county-wide, so it is doing what we wanted it to do, so thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank Waleed. Where's Waleed? Thank you, Waleed, for all your help.
Thank you.
Sarah has a question.
Well, I have a question.
Yes.
Rising construction costs over the last few years are a very real thing and continue to be an issue around the region. Have costs affected the ability to complete Phase 1 projects? Have you run into any projects that just don't have enough money because of rising construction costs? And then the second question is, what contingency are people putting in their applications when they apply? Is there a minimum contingency we've been requiring to help address those rising costs?
From what we've seen in these applications, typically it's about 10%. That's what they're adding contingency for the construction costs. From our conversation with many of these municipalities, we haven't heard any concerns about. I mean, there may be concerns about rising costs, but that hasn't been conveyed to us. Some projects, they were requesting extension in terms of when to start because of their coordinating with ODOT, because kind of like half a project is ODOT, half is theirs, and there's some coordination. But none of them have said that, we can't start because of cost, hikes and so on. But yeah.
Okay, great.
One of the other benefits of these dollars is state dollars are considered local dollars, and you can use these local dollars to match federal grants. As you saw, the Western Hills Viaduct just got another $127 million from the feds. Our infrastructure dollars are considered local dollars, so they can use those local dollars to match federal dollars. So this is another huge opportunity.
Just to add on to a comment, I've not heard, and that I'm not listening every day, has the county and the city, because son just sit here, have they acknowledged what's happening
As far as,
in terms of our involvement and?
yes,
Great. I mean,
Yes.
that's important.
Yes.
that
Yes.
We know that this is a joint effort, especially when you have an integrated committee,
Yes.
but also the value of that levy.
yes, yes, and it's talked about quite often.
Good, because that levy was big.
Yeah, the Western Hills Viaduct from the TIF got
Right.
$205 million.
Right.
That's why we made it a requirement that they have to put up these signs. So that's in their contract.
Yes.
And then I would love to see more detail, and we talked about this at our last meeting, on specifics about the project. I don't know the best way to get that information, but would love to see that.
Yes, we'll actually get that out to you this week.
Okay, great, thanks.
Do you remember the number of municipalities from last year?
Yeah, last year 22 municipalities submitted, and all of them received money.
Okay, so we had an increase in the number of.
Correct. Now eight from last year did not submit this year.
So we had, I'm a lawyer and I was told there would be no math, so I'm trying to think through the numbers. So we had an increase in the number of municipalities, but less in terms of the total number of dollars that was requested. Is that?
The percentage of what they were asking as a percent of the total construction project, that went down slightly.
Okay,
They had more of their local dollars.
Got it.
In the projects.
So last year they were requesting, let's say on average about, if I remember correctly, 68% from us towards their their project. This year it's about 64%.
So what we're asking is we're asking the board to approve this to be moved on to the integrating committee.
Before we do that, I just want to echo what others have said and congratulate everyone on the tremendous amount of work that goes into this, from developing the application all the way through. We all are very aware of it and appreciate it.
Thank you.
Very impressive.
It's very good for our community.
And I just spoke for everyone. I probably shouldn't
Yes,
let you all
I
speak.
second what Allison just said.
yes.
Well, can I move to advance this,
Please.
these recommendations to the integrating committee?
Second.
This is probably a roll call, right?
Ms. Bordone,
Yes.
Mr. Etheridge,
Yes.
Mr. Hinton,
Yes.
Mr. Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Robinson,
Yes.
Ms. Sheets,
Yes.
Ms. Taylor,
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Sorry, I forgot. it was
Brief,
Terry
that's all
first.
right, briefing item, Larry,
Sorry,
that's all
first
right,
thing.
briefing item, Larry,
So now, Larry,
finance report.
Good morning.
Morning.
First, I'd like to introduce a couple of additions to our staff that have just joined us over the last couple of weeks. I'd like to introduce you to Karen Rands, who is a 20-year professional joining the organization. She has a strong background in accounting, finance, and also management consulting. Karen hails from the Cincinnati area, is also a Bearcat, and she is going to be our Director of Financial Planning and Analysis. So let's all welcome Karen. Second addition to my staff just joined us this past Monday. Julie Beard has joined us from the Dayton RTA. She was previously the controller of Dayton's RTA and is going to be our Director of Accounting. We're really excited about her contributions. Okay, a couple of quick comments moving on to the agenda. Our investment balance update. We currently stand at approximately $82.7 million in our core investment portfolio, which is with a weighted average yield of 1.95%, which is up 16 basis points from prior period. In our in our infrastructure fund, we have a current balance of approximately $58.9 million with a weighted yield of 2%, which is up 19 basis points from prior period. Turning our attention to the statement of operations for the month. Back a couple pages. There we go. To the revenue chart. Perfect. One more back. Perfect. There we go. Looking at the revenue chart, we've got a 3-month trend here, just to give some perspective around how things are going. We see that there is an increase in the student revenue, recognizing the fact that the CPS organization is back in session. And then we also see fair revenue starting to rebound from the prior month, recognizing that we are on the tail end of some of our free fare promotions. Turning the page to expense trends over the last 3 months, we do see a slight increase in the employee wages and benefits column, primarily driven by operator hours worked. In addition to, we did see a surge this past month in the benefits section, primarily driven by the tool allowance given to our operators. And then finally, looking at the sum total of our operating results for the month of August, total revenue came in at $16.3 million, which is favorable to budget $4.2 million, or 34.6%. Total expenses came in at $12.1 million, favorable to budget by $21,000. And that yields a surplus of $4.2 million for the month. As we heard earlier, ridership is coming back. Our total for the month was 921,000 riders, which is favorable to budget 131,000, or 16.6%. A couple key comments relative to the revenue variances and expense variances. Total fares Again, slightly unfavorable to budget. We're trending up in terms of actuals, but the budget is still slightly unfavorable at 135K. Other contract revenue is also slightly unfavorable at $33,000. County sales tax continues to be a bright spot for Metro, coming in at $1.4 million favorable to budget, or 16.9%. And of course, we know the RP grant, which is a favorable item, which is primarily attributable to it being a non-budgeted item. And the non-transportation continues to be a bright spot for us as well, relative to our investment income. And then finally, turning to the expense category, we see wages and benefits unfavorable 187K. We've got a couple comments there around root cause. Parts and supplies unfavorable 107K, and then the all other bucket at 323,000 favorable for the month.
Larry,
Yes.
ridership, that includes ridership of all the free weekends? So the ridership's not necessarily, so let me ask that question first.
Yes.
That also includes all the free stuff, right?
That is correct.
So then the favorable ridership doesn't necessarily equate to revenue in this situation, okay?
In the period that we're measuring, that's correct. The expectation is as we, advance the free fare strategy, that there would be some long-term impact as we orient people to riding the Metro.
So the free rides for August were just the weekends?
No, I understand. I want to make sure I'm looking at these numbers the right way.
So this next month's stats are gonna be really interesting.
Yep.
Eager to see them.
Yep. I'm against false hope.
Well, when we ran the free week, I will say that we did see a benefit on the ridership numbers after the free week was over.
It'd be interesting to see if you can correlate that. I don't know how you do it quantitatively or any way, but see what your ROI is on those free weekends. So I don't know how you do it, but
We should have enough data points now.
We will. We will definitely be looking at that, as well as some of the other marketing campaigns that we're running as well.
okay. Thank you, Larry.
Kind of a random question, and I don't want to divert, but you mentioned OTP. When we run fare-free weekends and things like that, does that improve it? Make it worse?
There are more people getting on the bus, so it kind of slows down boarding, so it has a negative effect on OTP. Not a huge negative effect, but it does affect with the number of people getting on and getting off at each stop.
Good problem, though.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Metro on the move.
So our car-free day is September 22nd, and we will be down at Government Square from 11 o'clock to 1:30. Our partners, Tank, BCRTA, Red Bike will also be there. There'll be free pizza, music, anyone that's available to come down on September 22nd from 11 to 1:30. We'd love to have you down there to celebrate Car-Free Day. The State of Metro Annual Luncheon, to celebrate the many milestones the organization has achieved since the passage of Issue 7, will be Tuesday, October 25th from 11:30 to 1 p.m. Would love to have each of you join us at the State of Metro Luncheon. And we are honored to have the FTA Administrator, Nuria Fernandez, and U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown as our featured keynote speakers. So we're expecting a large group, a lot of really exciting news coming out of what we've done so far since the passage of Issue 7 and the things that are coming up. So we'd love to have each of you join us on October the 25th. And our university programs, the ridership programs, they've only been running about a month now, and we've seen a 20% increase in the number of students that have registered for the program at UC, and more than 65% increase in the number of students that have registered at Cincinnati State. And just a reminder, Blink is back October 13th through the 16th. Metro service will be free after 6 p.m. on the days of Blink, and there's going to be some really exciting things. I won't share them just yet at the park and rides for the people coming into town on Blink. So if you come in for Blink, make sure you stop at one of the park and rides and ride the bus in. We're going to have a lot of fun at those park and rides. And last but not least, we are sending out a press release today about our success in ridership, where we are at about 80% of pre-pandemic ridership. The rest of the country is between 50 and 60%. So there's a news release going out to kind of celebrate, our successes that we've had. We're really excited about where we are and looking forward to getting back to pre-pandemic ridership. And that is my report, unless you all have any questions.
Will we get a official invite for the luncheon or how to register?
You absolutely will. And we'll put it on your calendars as well.
Speaking of milestones, and this isn't exactly the detailed ROI that Rod was talking about, but we're gonna hit 1 million rides for a month, either this month or next month.
You know it.
And if you have running data, like the second we hit that, I think we should make sure everybody knows.
Okay.
That seems
That's cool.
like a really cool mark. And we also have to do the important detailed analysis that Rod's talking about, but I think 1 million just seems really
Yeah,
cool.
that'd be a nice celebration if you knew who the millionth rider was.
Oh,
That'd be neat. That would be neat.
Is there a way to,
We'll get together and we'll think through that.
okay.
It is possible.
That would just be fun. You're the millionth rider. Da, da, da.
definitely get a t-shirt.
Get some photos of that.
Yeah.
You'll get some traction on that one.
It says how important transit is to this community, that we're actually at 80% of pre-pandemic. When a lot of the country, they're still running Saturday service or reduced service, the fact that we didn't reduce our service, we actually increased our service. And we increased the frequency, the span. We're excited about where we are. And it's getting a lot of national attention as to where we are. We're kind of enjoying that. We have our challenges. Hiring is difficult. Retention is difficult, just like the rest of the country. But we believe we'll begin to overcome that this year. Adrian's team's doing a great job. And I'd like to thank the entire staff here, everyone from the executive team that's here, to the drivers, to the mechanics, to everyone here. We're all working extremely hard to make sure that we live up to every promise and exceed expectations from Issue 7.
You guys are doing a great job. And make sure you take care of yourselves.
Yes.
People are forgetting that in
Yes.
these times. We just, these level of people just get to work and work and get to the office earlier. I'm at the desk at 6:15 in the morning. That's not healthy.
Thank you.
And I truly thank the Metro staff for your support the other night when I got my leadership award. It was really funny having my posse. Everybody said, who are they? And I said, they Metro. So thank you so much.
Gwen, that was well-deserved.
Oh,
Well-deserved.
thank you.
All right, any new business? I think we've pretty well covered it, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Anyone want to second that? All right, rising vote?
Listen, I'm not excited
Thank
to
you.
leave. I get my wisdom teeth.